What's up everybody and welcome back to Around the Table Sports. In today's video we're going to be diving into episode 3 of the college football quarterback competition, and this week we're going to be checking out the University of Oklahoma. And even before this video I never knew how much of a competition it was going to be, even though these are two very talented quarterbacks in Tanner Mordecai and Spencer Rattler. The thing is yesterday news broke from the University of Oklahoma that Tanner Mordecai went down with injury, and that's a program that right now that has had a few key injuries going into the season. So conventional wisdom says right now that Spencer Rattler is QB1, and many around the program expected him to be QB1 coming into this season. So no worries OU fans, you are in safe hands, but because the quarterback competition is presumably over, today we're going to be taking a look at Spencer Rattler's highlights from last year. But guys, before we get into it, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I make constant content involving college football, high school football recruiting, and the NBA. Now that that's back up, we have an NBA video coming out today. Well, with all that being said, let's check out Spencer Rattler last year as his true freshman season at the University of Oklahoma. Spencer Rattler was in the class of 2019 and according to 24/7 Sports was ranked as the number 11 overall player in the nation and the number 1 quarterback, and it's pretty easy to see why. When you look at him in a system like Lincoln Riley's, it's a lot to be excited about. I mean, let's take this throw right here. Against South Dakota, Spencer Rattler made his college debut later in the fourth quarter. As we can see, he has classic mechanics on the drop back and a really snappy throw. And if we go back and check it out again, we can see that he's coached up in mechanics well beyond his years. Watch the drop back. As we can see, he's very natural dropping back. His hitch step is good and he puts his weight on his back foot and then transfers it to the front foot to deliver a high velocity ball, and that's what I kept noticing. I don't know how big of an arm he has, but he is absolutely able to deliver a lot on that ball and get it into really tight windows. Let's go back and check that throw out in slow motion again, because I want to focus on his release, which is lightning quick. Watch this. Already the ball is out. When he winds back, it's instantly rocketing out of his arm. And in a system like Lincoln Riley's, that's just terrifying, especially when you look at the weapons he has. Jaden Hasselwood, Theo Weiss, and not to mention Trajan Bridges, OU has a bright future as it relates to its passing game. And I want to go back and take a look at this one more time because there's a little bit of a freshman mistake in this that just kind of highlights how scary Spencer Rattler is going to be. And I say mistake, but really it's just him adjusting to the timing. If we pause right here, we can see the defender highlighted in yellow has already chose he's going to not allow the receiver to get over top of him, so he's already bailing. And if we already know the route and the receiver is running a comeback, the ball should have been coming out right when that frame was frozen. Spencer Rattler waits a little bit and throws it after the receiver is already out of his break. But like I said, when you have a release that quick and are able to get that much velocity on the ball, it really doesn't matter. And when he adjusts to the speed, truly, it's going to be terrifying. But even while as a freshman, he was able to display an internal clock that was just really impressive. And let's take a look at the touchdown throw right here, because there's a lot going on and a lot of great stuff. What this shows me is that when Rattler is on in his timing with his receivers, he's going to be almost impossible to stop. Remember back to the Bryce Young video and even the Tua video when I talked about how even slant routes, if thrown while perfectly timed, can be almost impossible to stop. And that's exactly what we see here. When the running back goes out in motion, this safety has to make a choice. The only problem is he chooses wrong. The corner sprints out and the safety's now covering the receiver, but the receiver comes in so quickly and Rattler delivers the ball so precisely, it really didn't matter. This had touchdown written all over it from the jump. And let's pause it and really nerd out about this play. We have two drag routes, which are going to be the low for the slant routes high concept. When the running back sprints out into the flat, we can see the two defenders, which have red lines, have to go and widen out. Basically, OU's trying to create space in this middle. That's what the drag routes are for, and Rattler has a bunch of different options here. It's just that when the play's drawn up this perfectly and the timing is this perfect, that slant route is going to be almost impossible to stop because it puts a safety one-on-one with the receiver. And we can see that as soon as the receiver actually plants his foot to commit to the slant route, Rattler's all over it. He is using that high velocity and quick release we talked about to throw an absolute dime in for a touchdown. And this is why I say, OU fans, you have so much to be excited about. With the lineage of quarterbacks you have produced, now having a guy that is this naturally talented, even I am excited to see what the future holds. Let's take one last look at this from a different angle so we can really get an idea of what's going on and we can see how precise this is. Right here, the throw is already being made, and that is a touchdown. That safety really didn't have much of an opportunity, and honestly, even if he played it well, the result probably still would have been the same because of that impeccable timing, to go along with incredibly quick release and an incredibly high velocity ball. The other thing I noticed that translates from his high school tape to his college tape is that he is incredibly cool in the pocket, and this throw right here kind of demonstrates that. On this throw, we have a completely clean rusher to the quarterback, and instead of panicking and trying to make a play with his legs, which he easily could do because he's incredibly talented in that facet, he just checks down very simply to the running back, throws a little pop pass right over the pass rusher, and allows the running back to go make a play. It's this sort of calmness in the pocket from a true freshman that is really impressive to see. Spencer Rattler has a lot of tools, and in this system could be the next great Oklahoma quarterback. And as great as he is throwing the football, let's not forget that he can really hurt you with his legs as well. Let's take this play against LSU. The first thing that just jumps out to me is what we just talked about, his poise in the pocket. He's going through his progressions like he's a seasoned vet and has years of experience in this offense, but he's a true freshman. Aside from just looking at how poised he is in the pocket, let's actually dissect his running. Because while he's not a Kyler Murray level runner, to me he's a really, really smart runner. He picks really good times to do runs and then is really crafty with the ball in his hand. He can make you miss, but he's also very smart about not allowing himself to take unnecessary damage or bad hits. He runs out of bounds when he needs to, and as we can see right here, he even slides maybe a little bit before he could have, but I would much rather have my quarterback do that. All in all, Spencer Rattler is a really, really talented quarterback. With him under Lincoln Riley's system, it's going to be really, really entertaining to watch Oklahoma play this year, and especially with how loaded they are at receiver, they're going to look a lot like Alabama did this past 2 years with all of those first-round draft picks they had. But that's going to do it for today's video, and y'all, if you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We do constant uploads like this, recruiting news, and even today we're going to put out some NBA related content, and it'd be great to have you along the journey as we grow. Well, that's it. See ya.